All right, Miles, let's talk about the Kansas City Chiefs for a little bit. Look, we know they're the top contender in football. Everybody knows that because they do a lot of things really smart. We talked about what Patrick Mahomes has done. We talked about what Brett Veach has done as well. But one of the guys who hasn't get the credit he deserves is none other than head coach Andy Reid. And we've got a story here and a couple points here we want to highlight that demonstrates how smart of a job Andy Reid is doing with the Kansas City Chiefs. And that's why they've been successful in the past and why they'll be successful in the future.
Yeah, Nick, I think the Chiefs have done a really, really great job. And we talked about Andy Reid, and he's been such a great addition to this Chiefs team. Probably the best thing they've ever done to this team, other than Patrick Mahomes, possibly. But I don't want to talk about head coaches. It's always easy to talk about the best head coaches, and they always get the spotlight. Today, we want to talk about the men behind the man, and that man being Andy Reid. Who is your favorite Chiefs assistant coach of all time? I think there's a lot of really great guys who've come through this program. So let us know in the comment section below, who's your favorite Chiefs assistant coach of all time? Let's give them a little recognition. But Nick, what is the latest big move that Kansas City has done?
Yeah, so when it comes to being a head coach, the most important thing you have to have, in my opinion, I think a lot of other people agree with this too, is managing the relationship with your quarterback. Obviously, the quarterback is far and away the most important position on the field in today's day and age in the NFL, and how the coach handles and develops that relationship will go a long way. And what we've seen over the past few years with the Kansas City Chiefs and what we'll continue to see is how Andy Reid manages that relationship. And there's another story that came out recently that highlights exactly what Andy Reid is doing. I think it's really smart. Mize, if you want to go ahead and throw it up. This is from NBC Sports. All right, Quarterback, the new show that debuts next week on Netflix, I think it actually is in a couple days now, will provide an all-access look at the 2022 seasons of Patrick Mahomes, Kirk Cousins, and Marcus Mariota, with one big caveat. There won't be as much Big Red, Andy Reid, as there could have been. Chiefs coach Andy Reid insisted on no recordings of his meetings with Mahomes. It was his one condition, and the producers agreed. Peyton Manning, whose Omaha Productions partnered with NFL Films to create the series, shared Reid's request/demand with Ryan Glass-Steagall of the New York Post. Manning also explained after Mahomes agreed to do it, he specifically asked Manning to secure authorization directly from Reid, even after Manning suggested that Mahomes tell Reid himself. He said, "No, Peyton, you tell Coach Reid," Manning said. "It was very telling. Here you've got the best player in the NFL right now that could probably say, this is what I'm doing. I don't care whether you like it or not. Instead, he wants me to ask his head coach for permission." All right, Miles, I want to highlight and focus on the first half of this report here, the fact that Andy Reid did not want those conversations recorded. This is, I think, so important, understanding that the dynamic between Reid and Mahomes has to be private, because I have no doubt in my mind that a lot of Mahomes' brilliance that we see on Sundays is a direct result of Reid's one-on-one coaching. And there's a lot of mystique and element that goes behind it. And Andy Reid, to me, took it on this opportunity to let Mahomes have his moment, let it all be about Mahomes, remove himself completely from the equation. And I think that is really, really smart. He's empowering Mahomes to do things on his own by not making it all about him. I love that from Andy Reid. I think that's one of the reasons why Mahomes and, frankly, a lot of other Chiefs are very successful. I'm curious what your thoughts are on this, Miles, but before I throw it over to you, I want to remind everyone to stay tuned to the end of the video to hear a word from our partner, and that, of course, is Neuro. They've got a lot of great products to give you a fast and simple boost of energy. So make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video to learn more about Neuro, and most importantly, to get access to our special discount code. All right, Miles, what do you think of this decision by Andy Reid and the Chiefs? Right, this is just another great move of what he does to manage relationships, right?
First of all, terrible decision. I think it's horrible. I think it is a detriment to the show because I don't personally care about Kirk Cousins and Kevin O'Connell. I personally don't care about Marcus Mariota and Arthur Smith. I wanted to see Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. That would be the only coach quarterback, situation. I want to see the dialogue. So as a fan, as a football fan, as a fan of Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and the Chiefs, as a fan of football, Nick, I want to see those conversations. But as a Chiefs, enjoyer, I like to watch the Chiefs. I think they're a very talented team. I completely see where this is coming from. It's a really great move by Andy Reid. I think this just shows they have such a strong relationship. I like the part where Mahomes has the respect of Reid to ask Manning, like, no, you got to go ask Coach Reid for permission to do this, all that kind of stuff. I think this just shows there's something different about Mahomes and Reid and their relationship and how they do things in Kansas City there. It almost reminds me, and I'm going to say this, Nick, because it might be controversial at the time, but this is like a better Brady Belichick. This is a more familiar, they're more dialogue back and forth. I feel like Brady Belichick, no one knows what it was actually like behind the scenes, but it feels like it would have been a little bit colder, not quite as a two-way conversation as I'm feeling that Reid and Mahomes is. I just feel like this is a special bond between coach and quarterback, and we've probably never seen something quite like this before. We may never see it again. So as a fan of football, I am sad that we don't get to see that. But I think this is a really great job by the Chiefs to kind of, show they don't want everyone to understand exactly what's going on behind the scenes. So I think that is really important. But Nick, don't you kind of wish that we got to see that just a little bit?
Oh, sure. Everyone wants to see how the sauce is made because of the incredible results we've seen on the field between these two men. But I think it's important to understand, and Andy Reid, I think, gets it, that Mahomes and his conversations, that dialogue, and look, they never would have showed X's and O's. They never would have showed game plans or anything like that. It would have been personal discussions, conversations, how the two men interact around one another and things like that. Reid is smart enough to understand that that needs to be private because whatever comes out will either make Reid look bad or make Mahomes look bad or kind of bury their mystique a little bit and give them like a little chink in the armor, if you will. And we've seen that with other documentaries, right? The famous Last Dance documentary with the Jordan Bulls. A lot of bad stuff came out of that because of that. We're going to see a lot of bad stuff probably accidentally from Kirk Cousins and O'Connell over there in Minnesota. A lot of bad stuff, I think, from Arthur Smith over there in Atlanta in the other half of the documentary. That's just the way these things kind of work. Andy Reid really smartly understands we don't want any part of that. I want all conversations between Patrick and myself, talking as Andy Reid here, to be private because we are in a partnership, Mice. I think you brought up a great point. This is clearly a partnership. This isn't Belichick Brady where it's sort of a working relationship. This is a two men working together in a true partnership form, and they're creating incredible results on Sunday. And Reid is smart enough, I'm going to keep highlighting this, to not want to mess with it at all and make sure he empowers Mahomes to do his thing, but keep their relationship out of it. Great move by Andy Reid and the Chiefs. All right, Miles, we would like to give a special thanks to our partner today's video, Neuro.
That's right, Nick. And I want you to go with me on a journey really fast. I want you to imagine this. It's 4th and goal in the big game, Nick. Your team is relying on you to make the big-time game-winning play. I know you've been in this situation before, Nick. The stadium is roaring. The clock is ticking. The game is on the line. But if only in that moment you were able to have some Neuro Gum. Neuro Gum will help you stay concentrated, and it gives you a burst of energy without a nasty crash.
That's right, Mize. Neuro has thoughtfully curated ingredients and does endless lab testing, which means that you can reach the right state of mind safely and consistently. That's the most important part. It gives you a clean burst of energy and focus without the jitters of coffee or any of those other energy drinks.
That's right, Nick. And if you click our sponsor link in the description below, you can enjoy energy, calm, and focus whenever you need it.